Hello everybody and welcome to Season 3. Now before we really get into the episode, I want to let you guys know that the storms that have been occurring in the region didn't have too much of effect on the house. It does seem we have some kind of sewer blockage or something going on because we had a little bit of water coming back into the house. Who knows, that could have been a city thing. However, it was fairly minimal in areas that really couldn't get damaged. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Definitely an issue to look into, but nothing too terrible. And our hearts go out to everybody in the other states who had serious storms like we did here in St. Louis and have been dealing with the flooding just like we have. Now this 6 months is all going to be about the facade and the Mansard roof. Because of course, every product I use, everything I use is super weather dependent. So I'm going to be using the summer and the fall to the greatest extent to stay outside and to work as much on the outside parts of the building as humanly possible. So without further ado, let's get into some time lapses.
So out of the gate, you can see the lift has definitely allowed me to reach new heights. And it's quite exciting to see this part of the building, a part of the building I haven't been able to touch with my hands before.
So you know what they say, guys, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And that's kind of the case with the stripping of this building. I don't know if you guys were ever aware, if I ever mentioned, it actually takes 3 times of the chemical stripper process with the paper and everything to actually get all of the paint off of the building. Which is a lot and is rather frustrating at times. But rest assured, just like I did on the bottom portions of the building, we will actually get all of the paint off. Of course, that's not the only problem I ran into while stripping the front of the building. We of course have more damage to the limestone itself. So the window sills up top seem to be in really rough shape. And the main bay in the front of the building had one of the biggest problems too, which is a huge chunk of material coming out around the window. So I actually noticed the crack in that beforehand and just didn't know how bad it was because a lot of paint was covering up the crack. However, I'm not scared of it anymore. I've fixed so many things in limestone mortar at this point that I know I can get it back together. So it'll definitely be an interesting task, but one that I know I'm up to. And the little test patch I did on the cornice on the wood came out quite well. Although I will say this paint up here is quite stubborn in places. But we did get a little bit of the wood poking out, and you can see a lot of the detail really emerge. Once you get those thick coats of paint off of something, it looks so much better. But I know this is going to be quite the process as well. I did a quick count of the coats of paint up there, and I believe there's somewhere around 7 to 9 coats of paint. As with everything in this building, nothing comes easy and nothing comes for free. So a really cool thing also happened this week. So as I shared with you guys a few weeks ago, the imprint of Hall's house and the dried out grass in the yard next to mine. Hall's house, of course, being an exact copy of mine. Well, a longtime viewer, Dan, sent some amazing stuff to us this week, including the only full photo I have of Hall's house. Now, I've had 2 other partial images of his house before. This one being from 1959, of a house down my street where you can see both mine and Mr. Hall's house. However, it's just a small portion of both of them. And the original 1896 photo I have of my house, where you can see a sliver of his house as well. But this photo here is from a newspaper ad to sell the house in 1910. And you can see even at this point, when Hall and his wife are both already dead, Brown is trying to help them out. It says in the paragraph below the photo, "See neighbor Charles S. Brown next door for the keys to view the house." So I think it's pretty cool that even in death, Mr. Brown was trying to help Hall out. And it's really exciting to see something that's really kind of been a ghost for me. This elusive photo of Hall's house. I catch glimpses of it here and there, and these other photos I have, but never a full-on photo of it itself. Even though it's not the highest quality because it's from a newspaper print from 1910, it's still a really cool thing to have. And a great way for me to compare and contrast Mr. Brown and Hall's houses. And of course, it just adds to the story of how touching the friendship was between these 2 men who moved together to start this company, Hall and Brown Woodworking Machine Company. It seems they always lived near each other, and they always seem to have taken care of each other. So it just adds to the story, and it adds to the collection of historical photos I have. So Dan, thank you so much for finding this. So that's all for this episode, guys. I know it's kind of a short one, but the weather was plaguing me too much this week. I did end up doing a little bit of inside work here and there and just kind of some small quality of life things. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being on this journey with Kim and I. And we'll see you guys again next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.